Hello, welcome to Front Row Review. I'm Vince Maniacs.
And I am David Graves.
And tonight we are going to review the movie Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
I think I said this on our trailer talk, but I did make a prediction that out of all the movies that were going to come out this summer, this is the one film that was going to be the sleeper hit of the year. And I knew it was. I mean, as soon as I saw the trailer for this, I was like, how can people not think this is going to be an awesome film? I mean, and I kept saying to everybody, oh, Rise of the Apes is going to be huge. It's going to be huge. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's going to be stupid. Nobody's going to go see it. And it's almost 3 weeks now that's still been number one at the box office. For 3 weeks straight, this is the only week so far it's went to number 2.
I think a lot of the fans of the Planet of the Apes and a lot of the people who just thought maybe that was the coolest trailer they'd ever seen, they went and saw it in the first week, and now it's finally started to taper off.
Before I get into the actual review, I need to explain a little bit about what happened when I went to see Rise of the Apes.
What, pray tell, could have happened to you, Dave, when you saw Rise of the Planet of the Apes?
Well, I went to go see it on the Friday that it actually came out. The first showing of it on Friday at this theater called The Great Escape. You know, I love The Great Escape when the movie works. Now, the first movie I went to go see The Great Escape that was messed up was Halloween 2. The movie wouldn't even start. And everybody had to pile out of the theater to go into the next theater to see it.
Sure glad that movie was worth it.
But then we went to go see Inglourious Basterds was the next one, with the Quentin Tarantino movie. And about halfway through the movie stopped. And then when it came back on, the lower half of the screen was blurry. The upper half of the screen was fine, but the whole lower half of the screen was blurry. And for anyone who has seen that movie, 90% of the movie is subtitles, so we couldn't read any of the subtitles in the movie, so we had no idea what was going on. So then now comes to Rise of the Apes. Same theater.
Is that the biggest popcorn they got? Is it a large? Is it refillable? I want a lot of popcorn.
Preview comes on.
Mr. Burroughs, I'm afraid I bring sad tidings.
Your uncle's passed.
Alright, what just happened?
Screen freezes. The projector has stopped working. We are trying to fix it.
Why can't you get the projector from another theater?
Because projectors are really heavy.
I bet a couple guys in here could help you lift that and get it in this theater.
No. So we're waiting for another 10 minutes, and then the guy comes back in. We can't seem to get the projector fixed. So you can either have your money back or be escorted into another theater to watch this movie.
Will you pay us in goobers? I want to get paid in goobers. I want some goobers.
So we all pile out of this movie theater, just like Halloween, and we go in this other theater to go see Rise of the Apes. And now, this was the day I actually had to go to work. So I had to call my work and explain to them I'm going to be late an hour because I'm trying to see Rise of the Apes.
It's because you don't have enough goobers.
So we all get into the other movie theater, and the movie finally starts, and this is like, finally, the movie, I've really been looking forward to watching this all year, too. So it finally starts, and about 40 minutes to the end of the movie, once, the action starts and the big build-up begins.
Enables the brain to repair itself.
We're sitting there and goes, push, so the lights come on in the theater.
We call it the cure.
I don't believe this.
The guy comes walking in and says the theater has lost all power and the emergency lights have to stay on. And I'm like, really? You know, remember when I went to go see True Grit during a freaking tornado, and they actually froze the image on the screen until it was over with, so nobody missed anything. Here, they just left all the lights on in the theater and just let the movie go.
Yeah, I remember the tornado.
So I wanted to get that out there. You know, that's how I ended up seeing Rise of the Apes, with all these horrible things happening. And even with all these things happening, it ended up being just about my favorite movie of the year.
So anyway, the last actual Planet of the Apes movie that I think I watched was actually the horrible Tim Burton version.
Yeah, and I guess we have to mention this because when that came out, I was really so psyched, kind of like what I was when I went to go see this, because I'm like, okay, here's a franchise that needs to be reborn. Here's a franchise that I'd love to see come back, and Tim Burton killed it. I mean, he just literally just cut the heads off on all the apes in the whole movie and killed them.
Yeah, he really screwed that up bad.
And truthfully, I thought that was it. You know, I thought there was never going to be another Apes movie because that was so horrendous.
Yeah, I really wanted to see this movie actually redone and done right.
So, did you think Rise of the Apes was done correctly, Vince?
Hell yeah.
First of all, what I loved about this movie is the acting. It was so well acted by everybody in the film. I mean, John Lithgow was awesome in this film.
Well, yes, he was.
Yeah, and James Franco was fantastic, too. I mean, he was awesome. But the person, or the ape, should I say, that stole this movie was Andy Serkis. What a phenomenal performance.
Yes, he was amazing. Even though he's in a suit and it's all CGI suit. He was great. You almost forgot that he was even wearing that. You know, that he was even an ape.
Because, you know, what people don't realize is somebody actually acted as Caesar. All those facial emotions and his expressions and him walking around the way he moves, that was all Andy Serkis. And he's such an incredible actor, especially not talking in the film, just by, you know, moving and facial expressions. It was phenomenal.
It was a phenomenal performance. He did a great job. I think he did better in this than he did in Lord of the Rings as Gollum, almost.
I got to get into this too. I was so not expecting this in this film. It actually becomes a pretty freaking emotional story here between, you know, Caesar and his owner. And, you know, I don't want to give any plot points away here, but it does get pretty deep towards the middle of this film between these two characters, and you really feel some just really deep emotional contact with these characters, and I was not expecting that at all in this film.
And, I remember you telling me that you thought I was going to think that this was a slow-moving picture because there isn't a whole lot. I mean, there's some action in it, but there's not a whole lot of action in the beginning of the movie. But that's not the type of movie it is, and everything that was in it, that was fine. I was great with it. The story kept a perfect pace, and you were interested, and it held your attention the whole time.
You know, this whole review, I've been waiting for you to say that. I've been waiting for you to say, well, you know, the first hour or so of the movie was kind of boring, and because you usually, if a movie doesn't have a lot of action in it, you kind of lean towards, it was kind of slow moving, so, you know, it could have been a little faster in the beginning of it. So I'm really surprised by you saying that.
You look at the trailer for Planet of the Apes, for this movie, and you could almost get that there's going to be a lot more action than what there is. So, you know, you could kind of expect that. You know, when you go there, some people I think would think, man, this is going to be action packed, and they're not going to get that.
What I loved about it was the slow build, because once it does start happening, you're in for a phenomenal ride for the rest of the movie.
exactly. It holds your interest, and you want to find out what's going to happen the whole time. And I like when a film does that. I wish, yeah, they would do that more. You know, when somebody writes that right, and it works out on film right, it's phenomenal.
I can say I'm very impressed by you, Vince.
It's about time.
Yeah, there's been a few films that's come out this summer that I think will become classics, and this is one of them. I think 10, 15 years from now, you know, this will still remain a great film. 20, 30 years from now, when they go back to watch this, it'll still remain a great film.
What would you give it, Dave?
I think I'll give it the gold.
Woo! And for me as well, I think this will be my what? Would this be number 2 or number 3? Gold. North. I was really surprised with it. Actually, I was expecting it to be a good movie, but I didn't expect it to be as great as it became.
Alright, so next up, I will be doing the full Blu-ray review of the original Planet of the Apes, all 5 movies. So stay tuned for that.
Get your paws off me, you damn dirty ape.
You had to say it, didn't you?
I had to.
I like monkey